What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 76 of my Total Warhammer 3 and BAK-BAK the Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we have engaged in what we've affectionately called the BAK-BAK method of ambush to destroy two armies, wherein we essentially move in, try to damage as much of the army as possible with suffering as little casualties to ourselves as possible. And this roughly halved the army of Durkit Ironjaw here, and did the same to actually destroy the army of one of the Karak Drindorfs, wherein Metabul took care of them. Now, of course, Metabul could have taken care of them without resorting to such methods, but he clearly enjoyed trying a new ambush type out and being Eshin and all that. Now, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, first of all, Throt, I did send this Typhus Rat out of your army, but you know what? We're gonna put him back in. And the reason that we want to put him back in is just in case Throt gets attacked next turn by, for example, Vlad here. I doubt it, but the possibility certainly exists, and we do have to be prepared for it. We probably don't actually need to apply the points, at least not right now. But you know what? Rally is an easy point to apply, so we'll start with that. Also gotta remember to get the monster throttler there. And the rest of you, I'm sure, will be fine. Yeah, I don't think we need to deal with your points right now. We'll deal with all of them later when you level up again, hopefully. And I believe there really isn't much to do in this turn. I guess Ixtone could try to stop, for example, this army. And then BAK-BAK, you're gonna have to get, let's see, wait, is this gonna succeed? Yes, it is! Oh, that's lovely. So even if these guys do recruit, they won't be able to reach BAK-BAK and attack him. Oh, that's great. Alrighty, so you... I'm actually not sure whether to get you specialist, because Tough is pretty good, and I'd like to put you on that Bone Breaker, and Tough would really help out there. So you should probably be an actual fighter rather than a specialist. Alright, let's give it Tail Weapon for now. You're gonna join BAK-BAK's army. Now, BAK-BAK, this is probably a fairly dangerous proposition of a fight. The question is, do we bother giving it a try? Do we attack them and back off? Do we attack this little army? The thing is, we're kind of stuck either way. Because if we attack this army and destroy it, this army will still attack us next turn no matter what we do. So if we try to attack it now, at least there's a chance that we might get an ambush. And we will not. Unfortunately, we will not, but I think we might... Well, I guess we don't have much of a choice here, so we're going to have to give it a try to do as much damage as possible and then maybe back off once again. Let's also take the Wailing Banner and put it on... Let's see... I guess the Chieftain. Probably. The least likely to rout out of all of our units other than BAK-BAK himself, of course, because of the leadership. This army is actually a fairly good composition specifically to deal with the stuff that we have. Our Plague Claws are going to be relatively useless against the enemy cav. So yeah, this is going to be dangerous, but nonetheless, we have no choice. We got no ambush. Let's see what we can do. Alright, well at least BAK-BAK agrees. As to whether I agree, I'm not sure yet. We're gonna have to make a very quick decision as to whether we retreat off the map or we fight to the end. Now, we did get a very, very nice position here. It's not on top of a hill, but it does have this massive cliff completely protecting us from one side, and we're fairly close to the edge of the screen. Well, not that close, but about a third of the map away. Close enough to retreat, at the very least. On top of that, we have a small impassable object here, wherein we can essentially put all of our rattling guns between the impassable object and the cliff and a wooded area to protect us from additional cav attacks from this direction. So if nothing else, the terrain, I think, completely favors us, which might make a good argument for actually staying and fighting this, despite the potentially much greater losses we could take. Now, we are going to start the battle off by focusing the enemy down with our Jezzails. We gotta do as much work as we can on the enemy calves. We got Squig Hoppers, or Squig Herd rather, being knocked down over on this side, as well as Boar Boys being knocked down on this one. 2 Jezzails per enemy. per enemy cavalry unit. Hopefully that's enough. It does look like this one boar boy unit is very low HP already, though they still have a decent amount of models. Of course, our artillery pieces are going to be trying to focus down this blob of enemy infantry, though they did waste a few shots on the enemy lord. As we can see, BAK-BAK is scurrying incredibly quickly to try to head off the enemy lord, just to prevent him from charging our lines. And I was hoping to maybe snipe the enemy lord, but it looks like these goblin warboss targets are relatively small, and the Giselles don't have good enough accuracy, unfortunately, to hit them unless they're standing still. And while we can make them stand still with BAK-BAK, BAK-BAK is very much hurt, and we can't really do that. He's also reached his healing cap in about 2 seconds, just by virtue of us using the healing potion, in addition to his own natural regeneration. And considering his healing cap is already up, we'll have to be careful. On the bright side, though, this Orc Boar Boys unit is in pretty bad shape and is pretty much done. The artillery pieces are also working overtime and have destroyed one of the units of Air Boys and are about to destroy a second. Over on this side, however, we are getting engaged in a little bit more combat. We have our chieftain who has countercharged the enemy Boar Boys to break their charge, and of course once their charge bonus is done, we're going to move our clan rats in to help out. We are just moving everybody in on this side to try to prevent them from charging our Giselles, though it does look like they are trapped fighting a goblin wolf chariot on at least one of those units. On the bright side, our rattling guns are firing, and firing relatively uncontested for now, which is starting to drop enemy trolls, and our artillery continue to do great job destroying the enemy infantry. Balance of power is in fact quite a bit in our favor, and the victory is in our grasp as well, according to the game, so it does look like it's going a lot better than previously. Our Poison Wind Globadiers are also doing a great job seeing off the rest of those Orc Boar Boys, as that is allowing the Rattling Guns to focus the trolls over on this side, who are pretty much dead. BAK-BAK in combination with the Giselles and the Poison Winds has nearly killed the Night Goblin Warboss, and our 2 units of Clan Rat Spears, few though they are, and do appear to be holding well enough, especially reinforced as they are with summoned clan rats. Another volley from those Poison Wind Globadiers. Yeah. When your weapon teams are positioned well, even a few volleys are just insane on pretty much any one of the weapon teams, whether it be Poison Winds or whether it be something else. Looks like the enemy lord is now routing. He's going to try to run away, but of course BAK-BAK has more than, 3 times his speed, so good luck to that. In addition to that, it looks like the balance of power has shifted about 90% in our favor. One of our clan rats units is done, and our chieftain did get completely trapped by the enemy Orc Boar Boys. As we can see, he's trying to escape here. But not to worry, our Giselles should be able to bail him out and allow him to run now that those wolf chariots are no longer distracting that unit. Otherwise, rattling guns continue mowing down the enemy as they move in, chasing after summoned clan rats, and I do believe the battle is actually ours. Did decide not to run away, and I think it did work out fairly well. The enemy lord goes down, chased down by BAK-BAK, and I think the main damage was really only to the 2 units of clan rats and our chieftain, who got stuck by getting trapped and surrounded by the boar boys. Otherwise, nobody really got all that hurt. I suppose BAK-BAK did as well, but he has healing, and frankly, he always gets hurt, and we need to maybe adjust his items a little bit more as well. Alright, well, let's try to knock down as many of the remaining enemies as we can. This army will, of course, survive. And there we go, Spider Riders are done, the Trolls are done. Looks like a few more Savage Orc Boar Boys, or just regular boys, are about to be gone as well. Nice snipe from the Giselles. Verminous Valor knocking some Orc Biggins around just to allow the Rattling Guns to get into position. Guess we could watch them fire a little bit more, even if it is a unit that's running away, just because it's so entertaining. And frankly, it's been a few episodes since Ikit's army had the chance to fight, and I miss watching massive lines of Rattling Guns go to work. Though no one does them quite like Ikit. Anyway, with that, we're going to speed this up, and I do think that this is going to be a game changer for BAK-BAK, as in the region, while not completely safe, he should be able to police now. The enemy armies are very badly damaged, and we don't see any new full stacks, at least in range right now, which will allow BAK-BAK to recover, and maybe even build a few extra units to round out his army such that we're not as afraid of a charge. Alright, not too bad at all. Now that may not have been the BAK-BAK method, but it was a BAK-BAK method and it did work out. Granted, our army would have done a lot worse if we were not favored by the terrain as we were, but fortunately it prevented the enemy from getting around our army and thus leveraging all that cav that they had. Looks like our Poison Winds did quite a number on the enemy as well, 19k on one of them, and completely beating all of the units of Jezzails, which is always nice to see when it isn't just the Jezzails doing all the work. Now we're gonna heal up as best we can here. Well, let's see what we have remaining, but it's not all that much, and I take it we won't be able to reach this little army here afterwards. By the looks of it, no. Leadership Tenant, you cannot reach this guy or this guy, right? Yeah, can you go into any kind of stance? You could go into channeling stance or you could go into ambush stance. Well, we're already full on mana, but the channeling stance doesn't really help us here. Can we get back? Well, we can't quite get back to Karak Vlag, but we can sort of get back to it. We can get back to outside the just outside the settlement. This might mean that this guy goes for tribe slaughter, but I'm not sure that he can do anything about it. But yeah, this is a decent thing to do. We'll go back even with march stance, because if the enemy now attacks us, they'll have to draw out the garrison. So it does look like BAK-BAK is reasonably safe, at least for now, but I'm pretty sure that those are not all the armies Grimoire's got, and they will be rebuilt. On top of that, we really need to make sure that these armies are destroyed because they are no upkeep armies, so as long as they remain alive to rebuild, they will continue annoying us, so yeah, that'll definitely be an issue. Alrighty, let's level BAK-BAK up. What do we got here? We have moved through Quartermaster, we got Standard Die. Technically speaking, he should have Storm Vermin, because this is Clan Ferric, and they should be a sort of mix of Skryre and fancy clan rats slash storm vermin stuff. We do have disciplined in here as well, which would benefit both storm vermin and clan rats. And man, I didn't realize this guy had so many traits at this point. Not a lot of good defeat traits because he hasn't defeated a lot of lords, but still, not too bad at all. Yeah, I guess we'll go Whip Smart, though it doesn't benefit anybody right now. I don't think Warp Smart does. I guess we could just keep going through Quartermaster for at least a few more points. If Blade Shield was in this part, I would get Blade Shield because BAK-BAK's always getting beat up. But for now, I think I'd rather make the army just that little extra bit cheaper. Alright, next up you. You also need Blade Shield and Scarred Veteran. You need to try to not be getting so badly hurt every battle. And then Typhus Rat, who has Sharp Teeth. You were always a temporary unit in this army, but you've certainly been helping out. Let's get you your Doom Rocket. Lovely. Now, is there anything else that we need to or can do in this particular turn? Medible's still in ambush. We've got pretty much everybody moved by the looks of it. So we can just spend the little cash we have and then head out to the next turn. Alright. Well, Tribe Slaughter and Pillar of Skulls are starting to look pretty okay. I wish we could get Stormvrak Mount traded somehow. Actually, it would be nice if Krakadrak were to invade the place. 25 is also not all that much. Might be able to pay them off for it later on if we're gonna hold on to these territories anyway, especially since Stormvrak Mount is a green territory on top of all that. I'm almost tempted to get a temporary lord up and running just to recruit a few more things for BAK-BAK, but is it worth the 4k per turn or 5k per turn, whatever insanity the game wants for a second lord? Maybe. Maybe because it would mean BAK-BAK doesn't have to sit there and wait. He already has plenty of range and stuff. In fact, he already has too much range stuff, and he needs a little bit more melee. We should also probably try to get him a second chieftain. I like the idea of a second one. And yeah, you know what? Fine. We'll summon a temporary lord. Who's the cheapest? One of the assassins, I guess. We could summon one of the sneaky assassins, even if he is only level 1. I don't believe anybody's a recruiter lord. And And wait, we can't even build the Storm Vermin in this particular territory. We'd have to start at Carrick Doom or Tribe Slaughter. Alright, well then Carrick Doom it is. Grey Seer of Ruin. I'm just looking if there's anybody high enough level to have blue line skills, but I don't think anybody does. Anybody who's available doesn't use blue line, so let's just go Skrull, because if he dies somehow, that's the one we care least about. Sorry, Skrull. And then, let's get you... Well, against, in particular, the Orcs, we're probably better off going for Storm Vermin with Halberds for the anti-large. Though it does seem like the Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield could be handy as well. You know what, let's just get 4 of these, like so. We'll replace the 2 Clan Rats as well as 2 of the Plague Claws, leaving us to 4. And we'll probably also want to switch this up a little bit, just so that it doesn't echo other armies too much. In fact, just out of curiosity, what do we have access to from our friends? Winter 2, do we have mammoths yet? We do not. We do have armored skin wolves, which is nice. And they are a fairly quick moving unit. Might be something that we could put into BAK-BAK's army, at least a couple of them, just for fun. And though I was hoping to get mammoths, and when we get mammoth access, and then it'll be disappointing that we have no space left. We could get some Mournfangs temporarily, though we are probably going to betray the betray this faction. And the problem with the Mournfangs is they're going to take 2 turns to recruit. Although they wouldn't go amiss here, and it would certainly make the army a little bit different. But we can't get all the Mournfangs we want. Actually, before I forget, do we have any missions? We have one from Warherd of the One Eye, sure. Vlad. Let's go Vlad then. Seems reasonably likely. Alright. Looks good, and you know what? Screw it, let's build a couple Mournfangs then. Even if it does take 2 turns. Mournfangs for you, and I forgot to go here. 504, is that even worth it? I'm not sure. Well, we're building them anyway. Alrighty. Just a couple, though. And then we could combine them with some armored skin wolves if we really wanted to, but then again, or once again, that would mean not saving for mammoths. On the other hand, do we really need mammoths? Would the mammoths really give anything to us? I'm not sure that they would. Let's go armored skin wolf, screw it. The thing about mammoths is we have access to pretty powerful hell pit abominations, and I'm pretty sure with our buffs that makes them stronger. For a faction that doesn't have access to monsters, yes to the mammoths, but for our faction, I'd probably put my bet on the hell pits, unless we get the War Shrine mammoth. I'd be certainly willing to build one of the War Shrine types, but I don't think that's an option right now. Anyway, that stuff's built up. We do have a little bit of cash remaining, which we should probably spend, and we can spend it... Alright, Riverlinsk, we got the... Ooh, next Temple of the Horned Rat, we should get that up and running, yes. And we could max out your walls, or we could max out the scrap heaps here for a little bit of extra cash, and max out the walls thereafter. Also, you are no longer needed to be an expansionist planning, are you? I mean, I guess we could reduce the cost of the Pestilent Nave and the Warpforge at Nuln. In theory. What's their final cost? If it's not significant, Warp Turbine Plant and... Ooh, the Plague Abbey is significant. Okay, fine. We'll keep Expansionist Planning up for now. We'll just switch it up later. And then Riverlinsk, you can no longer forge your walls, so we're just going to leave it there. And just because this annoys me, we should really get that spy nest thing going. But not now, because I'd rather save the money. It'll just continue annoying me, I guess. Alrighty, well with that, we're ready to end the commandment. Let's go for Expansionist Planning, of course. And oh my, that's a lot of negative public order. Because we did just take the Deadhead Monoliths. I guess we could uncollect the income, or actually that doesn't even help, does it? -4. Yeah, not a big enough difference to make any kind of, well, difference. We might actually want to delete that Nest Nursery and replace it with a public order building ASAP. As this place doesn't seem to like us very much. And even though we need the growth, it might be better just demolish. Alright, well, if it's necessary, it's necessary. We can always rebuild the growth thing otherwise, but we can't be fighting off all these rebellions constantly. Alrighty, hero not moved. We know that's Mechanigear and that other guy. Ecstatic Legions. We could build an outpost at Fort Straghoff, but I'm not sure that we care enough to do so. And I believe that was the only outpost available, right? Yeah, so we can ignore that, and then now we can end the turn and possibly get attacked. Well, there's actually half a dozen places where we might get attacked. What's the most likely? Here. Tic-Tac-Toe might attack Shife. It's a possibility. Well, let's see if it happens. Alright, Scarby's still moving around, not entirely sure what he's doing. I assume still working on Khemri. Oh, well, if it isn't Teclis. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he's alive. And he wants to attack us. Sure thing, Teclis, buddy. Sure thing. Why don't you go kill Big Bird? Your ally has been attacked by the last defenders. Well, I guess we're entering the war against the last defenders then. And didn't really need any more wars right now, but I guess it's happening. And I guess it'll be something else for Corpable to do, as he was going to move through their territory anyway. Can't leave all the lizard killing to Shife. Corpable wants to play too. And if he's proven himself against the dwarfs, I'm sure he'll do pretty okay against the lizards as well. Though he does lack the rattling guns that would make it a lot easier to kill Dino spam. Well, looks like we didn't actually get attacked anywhere. We also have Clan Molder. Wait. Clan Molder? Oh, game, come on. You're really gonna screw us over with Snitch like that? Alright, I guess Snitch will be delayed by another turn. We quote-unquote get Clan Molder, even though we were the ones who confederated them. I guess we accept? I have no idea whether there's actually any reason to accept or not. Next up, Upside. You can have a free Obsidian Amulet at the cost of half your loyalty or a little bit of money. I don't think we care about the Obsidian Amulet. You know what, if this guy doesn't win battles in the next few turns, the -5 loyalty may be pretty significant. Let's just ignore it for now. And hello, you have yourself a... 6 turns versus loyalty. Or characters or leadership effect -3. Wait, I'm confused. Is this mean that it's a negative effect on the enemy, or does this mean he is a worse leader for it? I think this means he's a worse leader for it. I actually don't think we've read this one. During a feast, as enemies are consumed and the paunches of their peers are measured with envious eyes, one of your warlords boasts rather too loudly of the scavenge hall he has discovered, within which sits a relic of great value. 10% income would probably be like, I don't know, 5k per turn? It could be pretty significant. Kinda hard to say exactly without actually being able to see this game. Lords have a chance to gain -1. You know what, let's take the risk. Let them fight over it. 3,100 up to 38. Okay, yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it. It's quite a few, quite a few warp tokens for us. Ambush foiled by Medable, that's unfortunate. That's why he didn't get attacked, I guess. Spirits of Shanlan destroyed, but that is not something we care about. Nurglost is ready for duty, an Undercity established in the Palace of Ruin. A confederation between the Warhost of the Apocalypse. And, oh, well, these aren't real confederations. They're false confederations. We can ignore those. Yes, Skryre and Molder. I assume Throt is still on the team. He didn't disappear or something. No. I remember there being bugs before. Alright, well, Palace of Ruin. Pretty easy pick here. We go Subterranean Pit, we go Scavenging Raiders, and then I guess we don't need the vision, so we will build the, deeper tunnels. Alright, I think that's what we've been doing up here. Oh, we haven't even been bothering to build the deeper tunnels up here. I guess they're not technically needed. Alrighty, well, we may build them up later on if we increase the amount of food that we generate from here, but really we need a lot more Undercities before we do. Ratmech, you have 2 tech stolen. You can continue stealing tech, but at 4% wounded, seems a little bit risky. Nah, it's only 3% there. And it is 2% here, alright. To Chimeric Aspire we go. Beautiful. Next up, is there anybody else that needs to fight right now? Well, there is potential for Shaif attacking this little settlement with a Maratok in it. Let's see, if you land here, are you able to siege it? Yes, indeed you are. And they've got a couple Sacred Croxies, but we do have the bombardment superiority, so we should be able to destroy their towers. Though I do have to wonder how effective Shaif would be at taking settlements. He hasn't taken a lot, at least not in sieges. So we'll have to consider that. We're also leaving a decent amount of enemies behind us, which I'm not sure I like very much. Let's move you over to Talakwa, or actually, let's move you like this. You were never supposed to be an army, but I guess we're going to keep you around for now. Let's also get that Taskmaster's platform up in here. And I'm sure there are other upgrades to do, but none that are crazy important right now. Corporal, away you go to Lost Plateau. And we could probably sack it and then take it back at tier 3 if we really wanted to, but I'm not sure that we need to. Auto-resolve this. Hopefully the giants don't get too damaged. Now we're fine. And I fear that sacking it will mean we can't actually move back to it. No, we can. Alright. Hey, and Corporal's got himself some perfect vigor and increased campaign movement range. Well done to Corporal. You've been a very successful Lord, Corporal. I'm very proud of you. Let's also get growth here, I guess, for now. Let's also replace this and replace it with growth. And we'll get additional stuff after. We need to start moving north and... Ooh. Derek Zorn, you might get attacked by the last defenders. What are our defenses like here? Bagar and Antok, let's get those defenses up and running ASAP. Yeah, they might be able to take Antok before we get there, assuming, let's see, are these guys actually fighting with anybody here? Who are they fighting? They're fighting with the dwarfs, who they're not currently attacking. Yeah, okay. They're fighting us, the dwarfs, and Khorne. As in the exiles, and the problem with that is that they probably have armies that aren't doing anything right now, which are probably then coming for us. There's a decent chance that they could be here at Misty Mountain, though it is reasonably well defended, especially if we get a lord up in there. Well, we're gonna see about that, and also we really need more warp fuel. Gotta try to get that. And hello, Skarsnick. Is Queek able to reach you? Yes, indeed he is, but I'm willing to bet Skarsnick would run rather than face off against Queek. At least, I think it's fairly likely. And man, look at all look at all these heroes in here. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's also somewhat necessary. Oh, this guy didn't move away? Oh, that's shocking. Well, we'll be able to destroy him then. Okay, I'm just double checking where our next battle is going to be, because we're only going to have time for one this episode. Vlad is also an option. Throt can not actually reach him. Oh, interesting. Well, we could just take Karakadrin then. Probably auto-resolve it, but do we risk an auto-resolve with Vlad so close? That's another question. And the answer is I'm not sure. The Plague Priest is also no longer necessary here, but it is a nice Plague Priest, so we are going to get him out of this army, but send him somewhere useful. You, Ronan, are going to scout for Throt. And let's siege Karakadrin. And let's see, it's a Pyrrhic victory. Oh, wow, and we actually lose units for this? Okay, no, we're going to have to manually fight that one. Alright. It'll probably some, like... Ooh, where are you going? He's probably moving past all this to head towards us, isn't he? And we have no extra armies up there. BAK-BAK the Harmless, can you move up here and block this army when he reaches this way? Maybe that's the best way to do it. And hello, you're heading to Fort Oberstar. I was gonna send one of our guys over there. We got more enemy dwarfs here, and Scrag is moving this way as well. You're currently at war with Karakadrin, but you're not at war with Zufbar, and let me guess, you're unwilling to actually join the war against Zufbar? For 23k, he'd do it. You're useless and I hate you. It's true, though. Alrighty, well, let's also see what's going on with BAK-BAK, and oh, this guy did go past him towards Tribe Slaughter. Huh. And we can just barely reach him, but the AI is doing that on purpose. They do have those armies back there, and I still think we need to move in to destroy them. We could actually leave this guy alone, can't we? What can he actually destroy here? Oh, right, and we have Charge Lock, who's also moved in, and Harwolf is going to try to retake Sjoktraken, but that's fine, doesn't concern us. It's Frozen Landing that we want because it was our territory before. Can Charge Lock destroy 3.5 stacks?
Don't think so.
There's probably a good chance that he can. And it would keep the Temple of Heimkel safe. Well, you can't reach these guys, but what you can do is go into ambush and start moving towards them, and then reach them next turn. I do wonder where this guy is going to go, but we'll see. If he can't take Tribe Slaughter, and I expect that he can't with the half army that he has, at least without an Ragnarok or something, we shouldn't be all that concerned. Anyway, let's upgrade what we got here. Iron Mine as well as nothing there. Skrull is going to keep recruiting. And I think that's it for now. Those are 8 units, and that will round out BAK-BAK the Lethal's army, at least at first, especially with the chieftain that's going to either join or replace, actually. Unless we get an even better chieftain. Or a second good chieftain. We got a weapon master and a perceptive chieftain. And that's certainly something we could put into use. Because your chieftain is currently what? Confident. Yeah, it's kind of meh. I mean, I guess he has his own leadership, but I'd really rather him be more powerful instead. I don't know, I'll think about the chieftains. Anyway, let's do a battle. Let's do a battle while we still have time here. I was starting to... You know what? Let's see about Skarsnick first. I want Queek to fight. Alright, come on, Queek. Alright, well, he didn't get an ambush, but it looks like Skarsnick is actually willing to fight this. I am pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting him to actually even try this. He has no chance, but mostly because we have a garrison here. We're probably not going to wait for the garrison, we're just going to engage him. Here we go, Queek versus Skarsnick. Alright, well, I certainly couldn't really decide as to who was going to get their fight, this second fight here, but decided that Queek versus Skarsnick, if we can make a duel happen, might be pretty entertaining to see, especially as Queek's army is going to be retooled reasonably shortly, I think. And we need to swap some stuff out. He definitely has way too many heroes, though I still haven't decided whether we want to get rid of that, what the heck are those Doom Divers doing? They're not even hitting our units. Doom Divers. You gotta love the concept, though. I remember that there was an, in the Age of Reckoning trailer ages ago, that they were putting orcs in catapults as well. And yet we have no orc launching catapults, just Doom Divers, though I guess the orc catapults are unguided. Whereas the Doom Divers are semi-guided. And I do say semi, just judging judging on the basis of this. Yeah, interesting thing there. The enemy didn't actually want the Doom Divers to target our Clan Rat Spears at all. I guess it considered them to be not worth its effort, or they're too low value for it to target, so instead it kept trying to move forward and target those Storm Vermin, and we did back them off repeatedly. The enemy army is now angry and annoyed, and they are going to start moving towards us. We are going to protect our flanks with both units of Storm Vermin with halberds, which are hidden in the trees where they will hopefully stop any cavalry charge, which they are already doing, at least on this side. Alrighty, Spider Riders may feel right at home in these forests, but I'm sure that the halberds are going to come in very handy against them. Here come some Boar Boys to try to bail out those Spider Riders. But we've got our own reinforcements on the way, as well as another unit of Storm Vermin with sword and shield this time come in to bail them out, and as well we've got the countercharge of our chieftains. I still haven't decided whether we actually want 3 chieftains in Ikit's army. It may be a little bit too much. And I actually really would like to compare performance of Mutant Rat Ogre versus Chieftain. Obviously at rank 40 the Chieftain should be much stronger, or at rank 50 should be much stronger than a single Mutant Rat Ogre, but who knows. Anyway, Queek rather, have I been saying Ikit? Queek has been moving in towards the enemy boar boys to once again countercharge together with the other Chieftains, so we're working 2 by 2 in terms of our heroes and lords, and they are absolutely wrecking the enemy cav. Our artillery continue to fire on the enemy, while archers primarily, or as best we can, and this is our third, I want to say, or second summon of the Menace Below that we're going to be popping on that Doom Diver until it stops firing. Though of course if it continues to just pop units into the ground near us, we probably won't be all that concerned. Goblin Wolf Chariot moving through the clan rats. How do you have enough mass to do that without any acceleration? What the heck? Oh, this chariot just moved through those units kind of like at a standstill. Damn. Alrighty, well, and now these guys are trapped and probably gonna have a pretty bad day. It looks like Skarsnick has also moved in, and we're gonna get Queek to try to fight him here. It looks like the two are trying to head towards each other, though there are a few clan rat units in the way. Queek's kind of facing in the wrong direction, I'm not entirely sure what he's doing here. Come on, Queek. And a Warp Lightning comes down just to try to make some space, but Skarsnick's not swinging away either. I think they have each other targeted, and they're trying to get to each other, but because of the clan rats in the way, they're not doing anything. A little bit annoying. Kind of surprised to see that Squig just standing there as well. Maybe he's gonna finally get through, and then Queek will start fighting him. They're both still at full HP, aren't they? Yeah, neither one has managed to land a blow, but that's okay. Looks like some archers have also moved in, but this is not so good for them because when they stop moving, they stop doing the dance, which means that the artillery are going to be able to absolutely rip them apart. We do have to be a little bit careful with our chieftains, as while they are leading the storm vermin and the clan rats, surrounded by trolls and orc biggins, it looks like they take quite a bit of damage. Their melee defense and armor is actually fairly fine, but I guess they're large enough targets for us to be fairly concerned. These boar boys are also in pretty bad shape, and these two chieftains are not nearly as hurt as the other two. And we do now have reinforcements moving in from the garrison, though it does look like the battle will be pretty much over by the time they get here. These halberdier storm vermin have been holding the line for quite a while there, though, and they're doing a good job. And there we go. It looks like Queek's still full HP, but Skarsnick has dropped by about 25% of his. The duel has somewhat begun. It looks like the Squig there has been able to knock Queek around, which is a little bit unfortunate. And now the enemy is moving in with some additional savage boar boys. Wait, not boar boys. Why do I keep saying that? Savage orcs. To try to help Skarsnick out. Which is a little bit annoying, as it will be acting as a meat shield for Skarsnick and preventing a proper duel. But as we saw, with Queek doing 25% damage to Skarsnick and Skarsnick doing none to Queek so far, it looks like that in a one-on-one, Queek should be superior. But like this, we're gonna have to get the heck out of here, because Queek was starting to take damage, surrounded as he was by 3 units. And not that it's going to matter all that much, because it does look like the chain route is here. Our artillery has destroyed the enemy archers. The halberds just barely managing to hold on at the edge of the screen here, or in this wooded area. They certainly did a lot of work. 128 kills on them, and 16k damage, and they were absolutely the heroes of this particular battle. Nice little charge to the side/flanks of the enemy from our chieftain as well. Chieftain's probably a little bit upset at getting hurt, or at least one of them getting hurt. And I'm not sure, but okay, these guys were still trying to charge forward, but it looks like in vain as they are done. Also, Skarsnick is reasonably slow, moving at 40 speed, and Queek is faster than that, so he should be able to chase him down. If he actually gets his hits in. Yeah, go after Skarsnick, not his Squig. Alright, what do we got here? We got 20... Oh, okay, that's... God, he's still got a lot of HP. Alright, let's just speed up the rest of that, but we can watch the death animation. And 1,000 HP left, a couple more hits maybe. What are we at here? Oh, come on. Another hit in there? Alright, there we go. One more hit should do it. 513 HP, actually probably 2 hits. Alright, come on, Queek. It is nice that you're faster than Skarsnick. Don't just run ahead of him. He's mocking him now. He didn't appreciate that interruption of their duel, and there we go, Skarsnick lies down for a nap. He was just sleepy, guys. He was just sleepy. Alrighty, well, with that, we're gonna speed this up. We did suffer some casualties by virtue of the attack on our flank primarily, and a little bit on our front line. One of our Clan Rat Spears units also got pretty badly hurt, though I'm not 100% sure whether that was actually the enemy or whether that was our own artillery pieces. And yeah, the Chieftains got kind of beat up as well. I'm gonna think about the Chieftains. We definitely can't have this many lords and heroes, or this many heroes in this one army, as I've already noted, and I'm thinking that... And well, we probably want to keep the Plague Priest, because once again, I feel like from a loreful perspective, Queek should have a lot of clan rats available to his army, which means lots of Vermintide. Well, we'll see. There we go, Skarsnick's army pretty much gone. A little bit of damage to us, but not all that concerning because we're on our own territory. Could have probably minimized the casualties a little bit by staying further back and allowing the actual the settlement garrison to reinforce, but we didn't need it. I have been relatively unimpressed with the Bonebreaker chieftains, though. While Mickey and Minnie do well for their particular army, these guys seem to constantly get hurt, even at relatively high levels. Now, granted, we haven't built them out with any crazy items to further increase their survivability, but it almost makes it seem like it might be better to keep them on foot at the cost of their speed. Is there any reason? I'm just now thinking, is there really any reason to have a chieftain over a packmaster if these guys aren't noticeably more tanky? I mean, I guess there's not... Well, I mean, the Packmasters are in Brood Cores, which are supposed to be more tanky, but they're also quite fragile. But at the very least, they have crazy speed and regeneration, and the fact that they can actually summon stuff, whereas the Chieftain's not so much. So I'm not sure. Anyway, we're gonna heal up because I think Queek is going to move out again very shortly, and it's not a crazy amount of money. Plus, we'll probably want to auto-resolve the rest of this remaining army. We got that ambush success chance increase because clearly Queek needed that. He's been succeeding in most of his ambushes. Let's destroy this. And, oh, yeah. And now with the ambush bonus. Auto-resolve. And we will take the... Oh, more healing? Yeah, 10% is pretty good for that. And another Rival Hide Talisman, which are pretty useful to spread around on various lords. Anyway, unfortunately, with that, we are pretty much out of time, so I am going to call it here. There's probably a fair few battles left to fight this turn. Shirk's over here at the very least, but then the pretty big battle against the forces of Krakadrak up here with Charge Lock, and then, of course, the attack on the settlement with Shife. So we'll have to deal with that as well as the admin next time. Should be a pretty fun time, especially that massive battle of Charge Lock versus Krakadrak. And also probably move Queek out this way towards the elves now, as I don't think he's actually going to be needed here. Though I suppose he could go to Crookback Mountain first, and Mount Silver Spear as well, as these guys continue to move to Mount Gunbad, especially if they want to take a break and put their armies together so we can finally swap those units out. Anyway, that'll have to wait until next time, so stay tuned for more rats. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.